Welcome to Bible Trivia. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Before we get started into our Bible Trivia questions, I need to tell you a few things. And I was getting ready to go on a class trip to the Coca-Cola factory. Man, I sure hope there's not going to be a pop quiz. How can you drop a raw egg onto a concrete floor without cracking it? Any way you want. Concrete floors are very hard to crack. Oh boy. All right. Let's get into our Bible trivia questions. Number one, to whom did Elijah pass his prophet's mantle before being taken up to heaven in a flaming chariot? Was it Isaiah, Elisha, or Jeremiah? 2 Kings 2, verses 8 through 14 tells us that it was Elisha. Number two, after Elijah was taken up to heaven, what did 50 men ask Elisha permission to do? Build an altar to him, pray for him to return, or search for him? 2 Kings 2, verse 16 tells us the answer is to search for him. Number three, how long did the 50 men look for Elijah? Was it 3 days, 6 days, or 7 days? 2 Kings 2, verse 17 tells us that it was 3 days. Number four, although Jericho was a peaceful place to live at the time, what problem did Elisha face there? Was it bad water, no food, or not enough homes? 2 Kings 2, verse 19 tells us that it was bad water. All right. Our next question is this: what did Elisha do to purify the waters of Jericho? Did he throw in a tree branch, threw in meal, or threw in salt? 2 Kings 2, verse 20 through 21 tells us that he threw in salt. And here's your bonus question. Remember, you don't get any help with this. When Elisha was leaving Jericho, what did some young men mock him about? When Elisha was leaving Jericho, what did some young men mock him about? 2 Kings 2, verse 23, his bald head. Oh boy. Number one, who was the prophet who spoke against King Ahab of Israel? Was it Elijah, Isaiah, or Elisha? 1 Kings 17:1 tells us that it was Elijah. Number two, what did the prophet Elijah tell Ahab would happen in the land? A famine, severe pestilence, or a drought? 1 Kings 17, verse number 1. The answer is a drought. Number three, how did Elijah get his bread and meat while living by the Serinth River? Was it from a widow woman? Ravens brought it, or it appeared in the night? 1 Kings 17, verses 5 through 6 tells us that ravens brought it. Number four, when Elijah went to the city of Zarephath, who did he ask to give him bread and water? Was it a widow woman, a blind man, or an invalid, or was it an invalid girl? 1 Kings 17, verses 9 through 10, we know that it was a widow woman. Number five, when the widow woman did as Elijah instructed, what happened to the flour and oil? It made food for a week. It made food for a month. It was not exhausted. 1 Kings 17, verses 16 tells us the answer is it was not exhausted. And here's your bonus question. How long did the flour and oil last? How long did the flour and oil last? 1 Kings 17 and 14 tells us the answer. Until it rained. All right. That's it. Hope you did well. Let me know how you did down in the comments.